I have a record of over 40 years, and that I'm going to beat Joe Biden. First thing I would do as president was eliminate the president's tax cut. You're going to take care of the gun problem with me.
Hell yes, we're going to take your AR-15.
If you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black.
I think he's been wrong on nearly every major foreign policy and national security issue over the past 4 decades.
Mr. President, my suggestion is don't go.
The Obama administration was aware of the threat that Soleimani posed. I'm asking tonight, as commander-in-chief, though, would you have ordered the strike?
No.
I think that the vice president had some issues with the military.
We don't need standing armies. The NAACP's endorsed me every time I've run. When I marched in the civil rights movement.
And the New York Times reports, quote, more than once, advisors had gently reminded Mr. Biden of the problem with this formulation. He had not actually marched during the civil rights movement.
University of Pennsylvania, where I taught.
Biden now concedes he did not graduate in the top half of his law school class, that he does not have 3 degrees from college, and that he was not named outstanding political science student in college.
Newsweek says Biden actually went to school on a half scholarship, ended up near the bottom of his class, and won only 1 degree, not 3.
Most did fine.
At least some of Delphi's salaried retirees might argue with that. They're suing in federal court now to recover their lost pension and health care benefits.
Would there be any place for fossil fuels, including coal and fracking, in a Biden administration?
No. As president, would you be willing to sacrifice some of that growth, even knowing potentially that it could displace thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of blue-collar workers in the interest of transitioning to that greener economy?
The answer is yes.
Kind of a chance with a northeastern liberal like Joe Biden stand in the South if you were running in Democratic primaries against Southerners like Mark Warner and John Edwards.
Better than anybody else. And you don't know my state. My state was a slave state.
It was hurtful to hear you talk about the reputations of 2 United States senators who built their reputations and career on the segregation of race in this country.
Unlike the African American community, with notable exceptions, the Latino community is an incredibly diverse community with incredibly different attitudes about different things.
As a black American, as far as I'm concerned, it is a high-tech lynching for uppity blacks who in any way deign to think for themselves.
And he's been a very intricate part of that system. You know, whether you're talking about, in 84 with the mandatory minimum sentences for drug dealers, or you're talking about 86 with the crack laws that gave you more time for crack cocaine and powder cocaine. Are you talking about the 94 crime bill?
Ukrainian natural gas company Burisma, accused of corruption, appoints Hunter Biden, seen here in their promotional videos, to their board of directors, paying his firm more than $1 million a year. Hunter, a lawyer who had just been discharged from the Navy Reserves for testing positive for cocaine.
Leaving in 6 hours. If the prosecutor's not fired, you're not getting the money. Oh, son of a bitch. Got fired. I don't discuss business with my son.
Yeah. Your dad said, I hope you know what you're doing.
I hope you know what you're doing.
I do.
And I said, I do.
But I don't talk to my son. Don't you need to know? So that you could say, Mr. President, I can't go to Ukraine. Hunter has business dealings there. You need to send somebody else. Am I wrong?
No. You cannot go to a 7-Eleven or a Dunkin' Donuts unless you have a slight Indian accent. I'm not joking.
We can reduce the responsibilities assigned to the police and redirect some of the funding for police into social services. Are you open to that kind of reform?
Yes.
Biden went on to say police layoffs in places like Flint, Michigan have led to increased crime.
In many cities, the result has been, and it's not unique, murder rates are up, robberies are up, rapes are up. And that is, there's an entire move, because they are xenophobic, because they do not want to invite other people from outside their country to come in and make up the workforce. China is going to eat our lunch? Come on, man. The fact is that there's a lot of things of speeches I've made, positions I've taken, interviews that I did overseas with people, all of those things relating to my job. And the idea that they would all be made public, and the fact while I was running for public office, they could be really taken out of context. And so the point is, if I'm president, Betsy DeVos's whole notion from charter schools to this are gone. There will not be another foot of wall constructed in my administration. On day one, I'm going to send immigration legislation reform to the Congress to provide a roadmap to citizenship for 11 million undocumented immigrants. In the first 100 days of my administration, no one will be deported at all.
So you have in the past, on more than one occasion, voted for the Hyde Amendment. Is that still your view, or have you modified it?
It is not my view. And the fact that she came forward, the presumption would be she's telling the truth unless it's proved she wasn't telling the truth.
Have you taken a cognitive test?
No, I haven't taken a test. Why the hell would I take a test? I've been tested and I'm constantly tested. If I'm your president, for me it starts here in my gut, goes to my heart, and then I articulate it.
What we are going to push for is a move to get Trump out, while we're also going to continue to push and pressure Vice President Joe Biden.
I know nothing about those moves to investigate Michael Flynn.
But you were reported to be at a January 5th, 2017 meeting.
I was aware that they asked for an investigation, but that's all I know about it. He's blaming everything on China. People don't make a distinction, as you well know, from a South Korean and someone from Beijing. And travel restrictions based on favoritism in politics rather than risk will be counterproductive.
Should the Obama administration have done more to replenish the supplies in preparation for future outbreaks?
Mr. Vice President, are you aware that you were misquoting Donald Trump in Charlottesville? He never called neo-Nazis very fine people.
More than a dozen Obama administration officials involved in the unmasking of Michael Flynn. And at the top of that list, former Vice President Joe Biden.